Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test, now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, I can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah. Said I'm taking big shots, just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. Just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. They been trying to get me cheap like a thrift shop, but I told them it's my time, check the wristwatch. They been talking way before they even doing something. Whoa. If they wanna play, let's get a tip off. Ain't no silver lining, dawg, this some rose gold. Getting new money, I'm a old soul. Yeah, I get it bouncing like a pogo. Whoa. And I'm too cold like Frozone. And my chick elastic, girl. Told them we ain't in the faking, this ain't plastic, girl. Bought a new whip and cash, now my taxi thorough. Way I'm shooting like step, but my pass is bro. The way I'm playing the field, I'm in a league of my own. And now they all in their fields, I got them all on my phone. But dog, I'm hitting the climb, I got no time on the low. Way I'm shooting is messy, the way I'm hitting the goals. I'm taking big shots, just stop. Way I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. Just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. I just left, but you know I'm coming back though. Whoa. And you know I don't play by my rags though. Now go and turn it up to the max, whoa. Send a paper to me now like a fax, whoa. Yeah. Got 2 phones ringing off the hook now. When I'm in the city, I get looks now. I was going bad, but I'm good now. Said I had to go and put my foot down. Told them I'ma get it and go. Nah. Even in the summer, man, they knowing I'm cold. I got a couple checks coming that I made out the flows. Might get a couple more popping if I do it some more. I gotta do it for real. Said I'm back in my bag. All my digits are climbing just like they all on a dash. And they tell me slow down, cause dog, I'm moving too fast. Might go and cop me a Tesla, cause dog, I still got a gas. Said I'm taking big shots. Just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. Just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. Just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. Just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late. Seen them down bad, now they tryna hate. Same ones try to hit me for the raise. Got a meal, now they coming with a blaze. Check the numbers, fam, I swear I'm getting paid. I'm a Don just like the Perrier. It's one time when I'm looking at a face. On the low like I'm pushing up the bass. Got a check and I bought myself a place. They get some money and they blow it on bait. I don't flex, but I'm pushing all the weight. Told them all, I swear I got it's what it takes. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it now, I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late.
Run it, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my been ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem been better. Gotta keep on chugging, ran through everything in front of me. Might smoke bed heavy, got a whole agenda. Can't aspire to get ahead, so bump that, it's no surrender. Got a dollar flipped up, I'm trying to get it an FT to get them when they're hand and crypto. Learn how to fix that. I don't really hold out of books, but I'ma learn how to fix that. Some opportunities and never come unless you paying attention, so no, I can't miss that. Moving, MVP, I got the record, I might have to prove something. Big jumper worthy, they gon' have to retire my jersey early. Whole crew coming, had to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket. Yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits. Yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no ends. Yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen. Putting hours in my practice, I did all that. Yeah, I can't take no loss. Yeah, I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. Yeah, I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my big dog, walking big talk, young veteran, living legend, bet I'm better than them. This is my ship, I'm a jacket like Letterman. Y'all better not let them in, they gon' rotate this, so I keep the pedaling. Started a chain, the cycle is heaven sent. This is from God, but I'm not your reverend, not in the pulpit. I'm a pit bull in this element, yeah. Said you gon' pull up, then settle it, yeah. I've been married to this hustle, this is my ring, watch out step in it, yeah. And I ain't even got a yard, but I'ma get it here. Watch out touchdown, pulling plans out the clutch. Everybody getting crushed, the cut down is for us now. Have to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket, yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits, yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no ends, yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen, putting hours in my practice, I did all that. Yeah, I can't take no loss, yeah, I don't even know what it.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream, also known as the Dump Show. Bitcoin getting the drop down to a very key level, guys. This is the key level that we looked at on Friday's live stream. Playing around with that 786, guys. We don't have much underneath us. If we're going to get the bounce, I would say we probably got to get it pretty soon here if we don't want to break the low. Down at about $87,000. $80,500. Are we going to get the bounce from where we are? If we lose this level, how low can we go? What are we looking for? We saw the 2-day red dot print, which obviously is not a great sign for the move down. But, we're going to talk about the key levels. I'll talk to you guys about what I'm expecting next here for price action. And hopefully we could get past this absolute wonky price action. And shout out to the fact that I need a haircut, guys. Bear market vibes calls for no haircuts. Got to save that money to DCA. I'm just kidding. But shout out to the Mafia. Welcome in, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. We got regular guys trade. What is going on? Said the Dumb Show. It's all jokes, guys. It's all jokes. But shout out to you, man. We got Flipper Frank in the chat. We got Theo Rodriguez. Welcome in. Welcome in. We got Gen Z. Long time no see. He was in the premium live stream earlier today. We got Infinite Team TA, welcome in, welcome in. We got Jesse. I think Jesse might be flying. And Darren Dustings. We got Jesse and Darren Dustings in the chat. Show them on some love, guys. They're holding it down here in these dark times. I'm just kidding, guys. Not really a huge jump to the downside, right? These are not prices we haven't seen in a long time. We were obviously back at these prices, call it in the beginning of the month, right? So nothing super crazy. I'm going to try to give you guys, not just downward price action. Are we going to get a bounce? Obviously, hopefully it happens from this level, but we don't have a lot of support down below. So very, very important levels here. Yo, what's good? Shout out to Philly Skills in the chat. Short time no see. Shout out to Samuel. Welcome in. Let's see. Shout out to Derek. Welcome in. Welcome in. I like the mid-sentence burp. Shout out to Satoshi Glakamoto. I'm losing my mind over here, guys. I'm losing my mind. Thank God the holidays are coming up. We'll get a little bit of a break there, and hopefully we can get out of this crazy price or, kind of boring, wonky, sideways price action. But without further ado, guys, don't forget to smash that like button. Even if price is going down, smash that like button. I don't want to start working at McDonald's, guys. Please smash that like button. Push us out into the algorithm. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. All right, so here we are. 6-7. Shout out to JQ. 6-7. Anyway, buy Golden, buy. Yeah, we need Golden to buy the dip, please. Dump a bag in there for us, Golden. I love the holiday. Shout out to Satoshi Glakaba. Hopefully Santa can give us the rally, guys. How are we going to get the Santa rally? Well, let's just take a binary view here based off the charts. No fake hopium, no pointless bearishness. All this is going to be based off information. You're never going to get that. You're never going to get senseless opinion here, guys. You're going to get my opinion at least based off of the charts. And here we are. So Bitcoin getting the drop down here, guys. Now, obviously, I'm going to start here on the higher time frames, right? Just to give you thoughts on kind of how we got to where we are. We've been trying so hard to get above this value area low, guys. We just cannot do it. We just cannot do it. And, of course, we did get this next drop to the downside, and we are testing a very, 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 very key level of support. If we are unable to hold this is the level that we looked at on Friday, guys. If we cannot hold this level, I'll bring it up in more detail in just a second. If we can't hold up here, guys, we don't really have a lot down below us, and probably I'm going to be looking to take out this low at 80,500. Hopefully we can get the bounce. We'll talk about the probabilities of that happening. But, if we lose this, again, right, just like not a lot of support down below us. I'll pull up the key levels for you, but we just can't get above this value area low at $91,300. This is the level we needed to flip into support to see that bigger retracement to the upside, pushing into $95,000 to $97,000. That level does absolutely remain key. And I'll just, let me hide some of these, right? I'm just going to kind of talk about the major key zones of resistance. We'll talk about the local ones as well. But of course, right, we have these tap daily MPOC. We have these daily MPOCs and a weekly MPOC sitting down here. And when we pull up our local range, of course, right, this is the level we have been looking at. We got the rejection from the value area high. FOMC gave us a second test of the value area high. We broke down. We went for another approach at that high. This is an updated profile. At the time, this profile was pulled a little bit further back, which gave us a value area high right about here. Actually, I think I pulled this back slightly as well. But we came back up. Could not break out of the profile, guys. What happens when you cannot break out of the value area high, right? In order to see the higher targets come in, right? We had to get out of this volume profile. And, of course, we got the rotation from our golden pocket here into the POC, into the high. got the drop, got the retest on FOMC, back in, right? Can't break out of the range. At the end of the day, you are going to be expecting the eventual fulfill of that volume profile into that value area low. And of course, we blew right through that. And we even had confluence down here, guys. We had the daily and weekly MPOC on that value area low. And of course, this was a little bit of a zone. I will pull the Fibonacci retracement as well. We've been looking at this pulled from the low to the high, and it does give us a little bit of a zone. And we talked about the real major line in the sand being down here at that 786. We do have a daily MPOC down there as well. And if we can't hold this level, guys, this is where I say we do not have a lot of support down below, right? Just looking at the horizontal levels, you can see our next significant NPOC is sitting all the way down here at $78,550. This is also confluent with our daily horizontal, sitting between 79,639 to 78,550. And another thing that we looked at here was that 2-day red dot printing, right? Not only were you getting rejected into your volume profile, right, or you were unable to break out of the volume profile, typically not a great sign to get a big move up, as you would be expecting the full rotation of the range. Shout out to the volume profiles. Always going to be a high probability move there, especially when you have your money flow coming out. But we also had our 2-day red dot, right? And this was kind of the sign to look at over the weekend. If we were able to print that red dot, of course, you are going to expect a bigger push to the downside. But one thing I was looking at specifically here, guys, this is now confirmed. This does look like it may want to print a little bit of a bullish divergence, which would be good, once that bullish divergence prints. But if we are going to get that bullish divergence, of course, that red dot was kind of indicating that, we could potentially see a break of the low here, which again, right, we have no levels in here, no MPOCs. We are literally at the last line of defense here, right? 786, daily MPOC. We have one more level, right? And we talked about this as well, right? We have the swing low down here at about 83,600 or 83,700. I'll cover that in a minute. But really, at the end of the day, if we lose this 786, guys, with the 2-day red dot printing, or confirmed with the 3-day red dot printing, this could give us these high time frame bull divs, but that would call for a break of structure to the downside here, pushing us into that next major level of support, sitting at about $79,520. This would, be somewhat nice at the time if we can get those bullish divergences to print, because as we mentioned, almost every live stream, we had no major bullish divergences down here. Don't really like that for a significant bottom. And if we are able to do that, right, like it would be nice to put in a solid bull div here. And you do have the backup support between the daily and the weekly MPOC, right? So we can get that bull div to print in here. It would be another major opportunity for a bounce, and kind of the only next big level that we have underneath us, right? And, that's why I always like to look at things with you guys through the lens. Let me lock this so I don't delete it by accident. I've done that 100 times now. When you look at it, just take off all the ranges, take off all the Fibonacci retracements. You just look at these horizontal levels. Like, this is the last line, right? Underneath that, this is our next level. And to the upside, right, now we have new MPOCs that are going to act as resistance. But, again, right, like where are those big levels of resistance? We still have the 95 to 97K zone sitting right here. And, last week, just kind of like not really having a big preference. Of course, we always go with the volume profile as it is the high probability play out of price, but not really like super, didn't really have a favor here for which way I wanted price to go, right? Just because market Cypher B has been pretty choppy here on the medium time frames, and it's like, well, hey, if the volume profile plays out, this is our next key level of support. We are getting a little bit of a bounce here, right? Like nothing really to write home about just yet. We have some bullish divergences forming, so I would not be surprised if we get a little bounce here. But if we lose this level, guys, I'm pretty much going to be looking down here to crack the low at 80,500. Same thing as last week. That's your next major level of support. And of course, right, if we're going to put in a low, right? Not that I would necessarily expect this, but if we're going to put in a low, a high, a higher low, higher high, and then some form of a continuation to the upside. Like, this is the level to hold. We break down below here. Not looking super great. The only other opportunity for a bounce, in my opinion, would be from this swing low. We do have some liquidity sitting here at about $83,755. We are going to be looking for some bounces down here in the premium Discord if we don't get it from here. And I'll kind of talk about what we need to see for a bigger move up. But I am just suspicious now, right? We have the high time frame red dots, red dot looking to print on the 3-day, and then we come up to the 4-day. Of course, our VWAP is continuing down. Our money flow is continuing to the downside, indicating a high time frame trend continuation to the downside. My overall long-term bias does remain the same, even if we are able to get a bigger retracement coming in here, potentially pushing up into 105K, right? We could still see that macro lower high come in until we are able to flip the 50-week 50-week moving average. That has to be my bias, right? We can get above the 50-week moving average, which, by the way, this does move slightly, but it is currently sitting up here at about $102,000, right? So just to kind of manage expectations, if we do get the big bounce here, we got a lot of resistance to get through. We got the big zone here between 95 and 97K. But overall, I am probably going to be looking for lower highs and lower lows until proven otherwise. If we flip that 50-week moving average, maybe we could look up to about 110 to 116K. We'll cross that bridge if and when we get there. But locally, guys, we got to bounce here, right? And if we don't, last line of defense, again, maybe we come take out this low. If we have to go for one more drop to the downside, we are going to be looking for little day trades down here. But at the end of the day, the big zone of support is going to be sitting down here below $80,500. But if we do get the bounce, right, what are the chances of getting some kind of a bounce here, right? Well, we do have a daily and a daily MPOC, right? Daily horizontal and a naked point of control. And we do technically, right? I don't love these bullish divergences, right? Pretty extreme angle there. But we do have the 90-minute bullish divergence printing, right? Higher lows, lower lows into key support. Now, we do have to be very, very careful about hitting into this value area low. This could be resistance until proven otherwise. But if we do get a bounce from here, right, looking to flip that value area low at $87,000. If we're able to do that, if we could get some of our money flow to start cooking to the upside, we could look for a potential rotation back into the range, right? Because over the weekend, we did get a little SFP of this. We did get a little SFP of this low here, but I was talking to the premium Discord about this. We actually did have a long setup off of this, but kind of suspicious, right? You front run the value area low. We front ran the daily and weekly MPOCs. The SFP does play out, gives you a nice little bounce to the upside, but of course, the volume profile, the magnetic nature of those profiles does come into play and does suck you back down to that value area low. Now, the nice thing about potentially getting a reclaim here, like the real important thing here, guys, is if we do get the push up, we need to reclaim I would say 87.3, right? You got to get above the value area low. This daily and weekly MPOC could turn into resistance. So this is kind of a zone. I would hope that if we do get the rotation up, we could flip this daily and weekly MPOC at about 87 to 82. If we can get that, right, we could say, well, hey, what do we have? We have a rotation through the entire profile. We filled it in full, right? This is not the place to be looking for fresh shorts. The only thing you can look for here is long positions. But again, got to be careful around this resistance. If we can get back into the range with the money flow coming back up on the medium and lower time frames, we could look for the rotation back up into the POC and potentially maybe the value area high, right? Not going to be my initial anticipation. Got to be careful around 87.3. Flip that. We do have a weekly MPOC and a daily level here at about 90,300. If we are going to continue down here, we got to be careful. You could, of course, pull your Fibonacci retracement from your swing high to your low. We have a lot of resistance here, but just from a volume profile perspective, we got to get above 87.3. If we can do that, hey, you got the deviation below the low. You got some confirmed bullish divergences. I don't personally love it, right? I would really like to see another local bull div form here. But at the end of the day, it's not impossible. If we can reclaim here, I was telling the premium Discord, this might be something you want to be a little bit later to than early, because this is going to be big resistance. If we could flip this, you could look at this as a rotation from the value area low to the POC, back up to the high. Of course, we need that money flow to continue up here. And you do have bullish divergences, right? What do we typically look for, right? We look for deviations below the low. You look for those bullish confirmations. Technically, you have it here. Again, I don't love these bullish divergences, but technically you do have them. Rotate into the value area low, flip it to support. We could look to rotate through the range again. Maybe we continue to range, right? This would kind of be brutal, to be honest. I would hope that it just winds up being a big pop to the upside, or we just get the drop down, right? Like, I just want this thing to make a move. But yeah, I would say the biggest level right now is to get above 87. Yeah, 87.3, right? Flip that to support. You'll get back in your profile. We do have local levels of resistance here at $90,227, weekly MPOC daily. And then, of course, right, I'm not going to mark off every individual level here on the live stream. But, of course, if we're going to continue, lower high and lower lows, right, could be here, or it could be in this golden pocket 786. But at that point, right, if you have your money flow coming up, maybe you could hold a higher low and continue up through the profile. I'm going to keep it nice and simple here and just look at the profile. I don't want to confuse everybody with the intermediary levels. But, the nice thing is we're holding on top of support. Let's flip this daily, get back up here, and hopefully we can get that bigger push to the upside. And then we'll cross this bridge as it comes in, right? So we'll see. We don't want to lose this, guys. This is literally the level we looked at on Friday. You have one last chance to get a sweep of the lows here, but if not, right, I would be, if we do get that, right, if we do get another drop down here, I'd be very, very careful of a continuation down, right, because you're below a bunch of resistance, and at the end of the day, right, we are losing our major level of support, which is going to be our full 786 from the $75,000 lows all the way to the all-time highs. Right. And, we are currently holding on top of that. This is really the key level, right? Because if we lose this, it does kind of step on the idea of a low, a high, a higher low, right? And I'm not saying it has to bring in a higher high, but it is a major level of support, which is part of what makes this level so important. It's a local fib. It's the range lows. It's the macro 786. It is super, super important. And, of course, just the simple fact that we just don't have any other horizontal support below, right? So it could just be a quick drop down. So we're praying, right? We're here. Everybody pray to the crypto gods right now. Everybody take a pause and say the our Satoshi prayer and pray that we can hold this level, right? So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking at here, guys. We're starting to get a little bit of a bounce, but potential bullish divergences here. You got the 1 hour confirmed. You got the 2 hour potentially looking to print here as well. Of course, this is never where I'm looking for fresh short positions, right? You're pushing into support. You have bullish divergences. I just don't know how strong this bounce is going to be. But these are the key levels. Value area low sitting, I'm going to call it 87.3 because of the confluence on the MPOCs. Next major key level is going to be the POC at about 91.342. And then the value area high does come in here around $94,150. Come on, Bitcoin. Save yourself here. Get back up in here. This is the big level to flip. And if we can't do it, yikes, right? I'm going to be looking for the bigger drop to the downside. So there we go. Taking a look at the daily VWAP attempting to curve back to the upside here as well, just barely, right? Nothing really to write home about there. We're hoping this is the bottom of that VWAP. Hopefully the money flow can keep trending up. But I can't stress this enough, guys. Like, we got to bounce here. We got to bounce here. Maybe we bounce off this wick, but this is definitely a much more confluent level. We have no confluence on this wick other than the fact that there might be liquidity. We might be able to get the SFP. Other than that, this is the last level of horizontal support. It's why I don't really like this level, right? There's no confluence. Here, you have the deviation below the low, the bull divs, and key support. Down here, you're just hoping for an SFP, which is possible, but of course, we always want to see that confluence with the horizontal support levels. So just still within the ranging context here. Hopefully we can get back up in here. And I'll just treat this as a volume profile, right? We come back up to the highs. Maybe that's where we come up to 95 to 97K. And I'm not going to cover, like, if we shoot through here, right? We'll cover this probably tomorrow. I doubt that by the time we're live tomorrow that we're all the way up here. But we'll cross that bridge if and when we get there. We got to get up above all this stuff right now. Check the 80-minute money flow attempting to come up. Yeah, it's just not a great... I wish I just had, like, the most clear view here, guys. It's super choppy. You got the bull divs. Money flow tries to come up. It's back in the red. Even the, 4-hour money flow just still in the red here. I just wish we had cleaner bullish divergences, right? If we had nice 4-hour bull divs down here, it would look really good. Doesn't mean you can't scalp it on the way back up. Come on, TradingView, don't do this to me, right? Doesn't mean that this bull div can't give you a little retracement back up, but I'm personally going to be very, very cautious, right? Because again, for the massive moves up, you don't want to be fighting all these high time frame red dots, right? Maybe this unprints, but again, money flow continuing out, high time frame context remains exactly the same. There is no guarantee that we have to get the retracement to 103K, 102K into the 50-week moving average. There's no guarantee that has to happen from here. We could come down first. And, we're fighting this high time frame red dot, which is why, another one of the reasons why I would be a little bit cautious with these bounces. Hopefully we can get it, but, 1 hour bull div with some low time frame money flow coming up is not necessarily going to step on a 4-hour red dot. A 3-day red dot or a 4-day red dot, which is looking to come in. And again, right, like, money flow is all about trend. We don't get excited over these little pops up. Just draw your trend line. Money flow indicates the overall trend. This is trending out and continuing, and the VWAP is coming down. Right? If we get the 4-day red dot, we continue down. This money flow is going to start crossing into the red. And this is really the 4 days, the only money flow on the higher time frames that is not coming out. 2-day money flow in the red. 3-day money flow in the red. 4-day money flow about to cross over into the red. 5-day money flow in the red, right? Yes, it is coming up locally here, but this is a trending nature, right? This moves in ebbs and flows and ebbs and flows and ebbs and flows and ebbs and flows, right? That red dot prints, this could easily drag back into the red. And of course, we have the 6-day money flow in the red, which is obviously a pretty high time frame, rare bearish signal. Yes, we have all the narratives. Money printing, ending QT. Yes, that is true. That is absolutely true. I don't ignore that. But I also don't ignore the charts, right? I feel like when people bring up these narratives, they just kind of ignore the charts. They're like, yes, those things are true. You cannot dispute those. But you also can't ignore the chart here. Hopefully it's wrong, but it is what it is, right? And this is why I am still cautious, high time frame. So I'm going to come on in here to the chat. Hopefully we can start talking about something different here. Come on, baby. Get back above that daily. Get back above that daily. You could do it. You could do it. Come on, baby. Come on. Frankie Candles goes live. We start pumping. Come on. Shout out to Samuel. Said BTC is such a duster. I'm stealing that term, bro. Duster is amazing, bro. Only good news is all of the liquidations are above. Yes. Obviously, this is kind of what we talk about from the high time frame perspective, right? We're at major support, right? Let me just pull up a naked chart here, right? The reason all the short positions, right? All the good short positions, I should say, right? For the most part, we're had up here, and up here, right? All positions giving in the premium Discord. But this is not the place to get short, right? Like at that point, you've missed the major move to the downside. You're pushing in your macro 786, and you can see we just retested that today. Again, part of the reason why this level is so important. If we could hold this, right, you could still potentially get that bigger retracement to the upside. Does this make me instantly think all-time highs? No. But it is still a major level of support to hold for some kind of a retracement up, even if it is going to be a lower high for a lower low. We really do not want to lose these levels, guys, because again, no support. We wind up breaking down. There's not a lot underneath us. There's really not. So if you take anything away from this stream, guys, like we really want to hold this level. I just can't stress it enough. We looked at it last week, and here we are, unfortunately. So come on, push up. Let's go, Bitcoin. Shout out to Rudy. Said, Frankie, send it, bro. Quit playing. Send it. Should we just drop a massive bag into in on spot and try to pump this thing? Buying short-term bonds is not QE. Yes, correct. Let's see. If you're bearish, why expect to hold levels? Shout out to buy the dip, right? Well, it's all contextual, right? You could be bearish on a high time frame, right? Like, let's just bring it back here. You could be bearish on a high time frame for a high time frame continuation of your downtrend, right? High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. This would be overall bearish. That does not mean that when you come down to this level, right? Let's just say, it's the 786 Fibonacci retracement, right? That does not mean that you can have we're hitting key support, right? Maybe you get some bullish confirmations, right? Well, technically that would be support, right? For a bounce. That doesn't change the long-term view of a lower high and a lower low. So does this support hold? Yes, right? Temporarily it holds. It gives you a little retracement, but eventually it does break through. It's a very similar context. I pull this fractal almost every single day on the channel. That's an anchored VWAP. We pull this all the time. I'm not saying it has to play out exactly the same, but it's very similar, right? It's like you're coming down to support. This could hold, right? And we're hoping maybe that can bring you up to the 50-week moving average, but, this is still support. You don't want to get bearish at support. And, this is a trading channel, right? So looking for support to hold doesn't necessarily mean all-time highs incoming, right? That's what everybody wants to hear. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing down here, right? Like, what were we looking for? Longs. What did we take? Longs. You could still take longs and look for moves up while still remaining higher time frame bearish. Does that make sense? I know it's really confusing if you're new to looking at charts or you're just new to crypto in general. There's support. You can look for it to hold. Doesn't mean it's going to hold long term. So you're hoping this holds for some kind of a continuation up. Does not mean that it's just going to send you off into new all-time highs, right? It could just be that kind of same context where it's like bounce. You would hope that you can get some kind of retracement off that level. The problem with losing this is that your next major level of support is really sitting down here, right? I'll even pull up the MPOCs again, right? It's like, yeah, sure, you have the 78,550, but other than that, right, it's like the next big confluent level of support is all the way down here at the value area high of our previous range between $70,000 and $67,000. So you could be bullish, right? Well, bullish depends. Frankie, are you bullish or bearish? Well, if you ask me for my my sentiment off the 15-minute, right? I could say bullish. Maybe we go up over the next hour, right? But I could still be bearish on a high time frame. So, hopefully that holds, right? Does not mean that you're not going to come down to these higher time frame levels, right? Whether you get the big retracement, a little retracement, etc. So hopefully that makes sense. I know it gets a little bit confusing. It's like, well, if you're bearish, like, why are you looking for support to hold? Totally valid question, right? Well, it's just contextual, right? Long term, even a bounce up to 102 to 105K might not make me anticipate new all-time highs, right? You could still put in a higher low or a lower high and a lower low, just like we did back here, right? And just because it played out back here is not why I'm looking for that to play out. I'm just pointing to this because it's a similar scenario, right? Again, pulling the fractal. Drop below the 50-week, multiple weekly candle closures, retracement into the 50-week, lower high, lower low. Almost the same exact context, right? Obviously, you have to resize it a little bit, but very, very, very similar, right? Drop, you're at support. Sure, that support could hold. Doesn't mean it's going to hold long time. It would be like a retracement into the 50-week moving average and then a lower high and a lower low. Definitely something we could see play out, not just based off the fact that it happened in the past, or that's typically what we see when we lose the 50-week moving average. If you go back to 2017, it was the same exact thing. Of course, right? I hate to beat the dead horse here. Multiple weekly candle closures below, bearish retest, continuation into the bear market, right? It's like definitely still a risk there. Hopefully we can get some kind of Santa rally, end of the year retracement. And this is the level to do it at, right? Because it's kind of the last major support until we wind up getting the bigger breakdown to this value area high, 70 to 67K. So that just is what it is, right? It's not just that. It's the fact that we have all the money flow looking similar, all the high time frame money flow continuing out, which does indicate the higher time frame trend is more likely to continue to the upside, whether we get it from here or we get the bigger retracement. Like, still lower highs and lower lows are to be expected based off money flow. PTC is such a duster. I love that. Shout out to Tactical Hornet. Says, I don't think BTC will get globally accepted until they really know who holds that Satoshi bag. Shout out to Tactical Hornet. Hopefully it's not a bad, if that mystery ever gets solved, hopefully it's not a bearish catalyst, right? It's the CIA. Anyway. I'm waiting on reverse Kramer. Shout out to Wick 589. The reverse Kramer indicator. I'd pay $30 for it. Shout out to Wick 589. What is he saying? Does anybody know? Where is the alt season? Shout out to the Godfather. I'm not going to cover alt season today, guys. I've just covered that scenario so many times, right? Like, we need Bitcoin. If we can get the bigger retracement, that's what you're hoping for, some kind of an alt season, right? Bitcoin's got to retrace, right? Bitcoin dominance still looks the same here. Got all the high time frame money flow continuing to the downside. This would indicate the trend could continue down, but we do need a retracement on that falling Bitcoin dominance. That's your hope for altcoins, and hopefully we can have it Q4. Come on, Q4. Come on, Santa. Santa rally. Santa rally in the chat. Drop some Santa hats in the chat, guys. Please, for the love of God. Hey, yo, shout out to Mad Ads. Yo. Thank you for gifting the 10 Frankie Candles memberships, and actually, he gifted 20 Frankie Candles memberships. Let's go. Mad Ads, yo, drop in the love, bro. I appreciate you so much, man. Been showing a lot of love on the channel. Shout out to Mad Ads. I appreciate you more than you probably realize. Trying to lighten the mood here with some memberships. Let's go. Drop a thank you in the chat. Drop a Santa hat in the chat. And hopefully we get the Santa rally. CIA trading Bitcoin on multiple screens. They're just like, they're trading fair value gaps. Oh, God. But hang on. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any super chats here or anything. Shout out to 3 Diglets. Thank you for the super chat. Said, yeah, we're effing cooked. Shout out to 3 Diglets. No, don't say it, bro. And Jesse, thank you for the super chat. Said, send these likes, Mafia. It increases your chance of winning USDT in Friday's live stream. Do it now. Run up the likes, guys. We are going for 11 likes on today's live stream. There's the Santas. Come on, baby. Send us into a Santa rally. That's the hope, guys. That's the hope, right? I can't guarantee it. But one thing I can say is we're at support. If you're hoping for it, it's got to happen soon. It's got to happen soon. But again, right, like if I was just looking at this on the 4-day, right, that 4-day red dot prints, yikes, right? If we don't get that retracement, it's like, could be coming down to some of these bigger levels. And again, we covered the local wick here. We covered some of the local levels we could potentially get, saved on. But it's a major level here, guys. It really is, right? Like, you don't want to lose this macro 786. Probably going to be a big drop to the downside, in my opinion, right? Hopefully we can fake out the wick here at 80,500. That's like really the next major level I'd be paying attention to until we start looking to crack these lows at 75K coming into our major zone of support, right? Our next major zone of support, 70 to 67K. And we'll see, right? Is the bottom going to come in there? I don't know, right? I would have to assume that if we did get a move down there, right, I'll just mark off this value area high. Right? If we get the move down there and we start bouncing around, even if we get bullish divergences, what do we think this money flow is going to look like? It's going to be just crossing into the red, indicating the start of a much bigger downtrend. Maybe it looks different. I know, hopefully maybe it fakes out, right? But if I had to guess, it's the same thing that we talked about when we came down to $94,000. It's like money flow is looking like it's just starting to cross into the red, right? And indicates the continuation down, and then we wound up breaking 94K, right? Coming down into the 80s. It's the same thing. So it's very, very important here, guys. Very important, right? And you pull the local fib that we looked at, you can see that 786, right? It's like all sitting right here. We can't lose this. You know, maybe, just maybe, when you pull from this low to the high, right, your full low to the full high, golden pocket, that's where we're kind of getting turbulence on right now on top of the MPOCs that we're hitting, right? But if we lose this, the last line of defense is this 786, which again is just the same thing as looking for the SFP of this low for a bounce, right? Like we're just kind of wonking around in a range here. Decisively lose these levels. Like I'm looking down to 70 to 67K. I wish I wasn't. I wish that wasn't the case, right? But I don't make the decisions. The charts do. Let's see. 76K incoming, 78K incoming. See you at 56K. Well, hey, is 56K an important level? Just look at our volume profile, right? And like just to give you guys an idea of what I would expect down here if we do get the bigger drop, which again, hopefully we don't, right? But we don't make the rules. There's your value area high. There's your POC. There's your value area low, right? So like what are the major levels I'd be looking at? Well, 70,000 at the value area high. Your POC, this is going to be different on Bitstamp and the Bybit chart, obviously. On Bitstamp, the POC sits at about 63K. And then the value area low, if we're going to come down here, right, like what would we expect? Well, hey, oh no. Right, we're leaving balance. Oh, where are we going to do? We're going to seek out that fair value. If we get accepted into this range, POC is going to be next. Lose the POC, go to the value area low for the full fill of the volume profile. We start deviating down here. Well, guess what? That could bring you down to 56K. And of course, right, it's not just going to be, I don't think, I hope not, right? It's not just going to be a massive drop like in a straight line, right? I would expect support even locally on some of those levels, but down here, right, maybe you get a bounce here, maybe there's lower high. I don't know exactly what the structure is going to look like. But if we did come down there, right, like you have that beautiful roadmap of this volume profile. Hey, maybe we get some support on the value area high. Maybe there's some scalp longs to take there, right? On the retracements, maybe there's some shorts, right? Get accepted into the range, ride it through the volume profile. Deviate below the low. I am never looking for shorts at a value area low. The only thing I can look for is bullish divergences, right, or any kind of entry trigger, right? All I'm looking for are signs that we could get a reclaim of the value area low. Maybe we range here, right? We don't know. We don't know what it's going to look like. I'm not going to try to predict it because that's impossible, right? I could predict that there maybe is a high probability of coming down to the value area high. I just don't know exactly what that roadmap's going to look like. It's a lot easier to call what price action will look like when you're inside the profile. It's like, well, hey, lose this, probably going here and then there. And we could say, hey, not a lot of support here. Bring up the visible range volume profile, right? Keep it nice and simple. Pull up the VPVR. Look at this. Another reason why this is such an important zone to hold. We lose this. Look at the low volume gap. This is not oftentimes a place where you find support. The support all comes in on the high volume nodes. Right? When you have these low volume gaps, this is typically where price, once gets accepted in, you look for the fast drop down. Get stuck under there, lose these lows, you are at risk of getting a fast drop down to your next high volume node, which comes in at around, starts at around, $70,000, right? You can see the shelf of volume forming right there, or not forming, but sitting right there. But you would not expect a lot of support in that gap, right? So, many, many, many reasons, locally, macro, volume-wise, many reasons to hold above this level if you want the bigger retracement, right? If we can get the bigger retracement, maybe we come up to the 50-week moving average. Obviously, we have some local levels up there we can look at as well before 102,000. But if we can't hold it, right, like at the end of the day, all we can really say is if you lose this, like just draw out this volume gap. Very easy way to look at price, right? Very simple, very visual, right? It's not like super complicated. It's just, well, hey, that's like a big hole in the ground, right? It's like you want to hold it. Oh, we bounce. Hopefully we can stay above and get the bigger retracement. But like look at all this volume up here towards 97K. If we can't get back above this high volume node, guess what? This is the big level of resistance, right? Get above there. Maybe we get hit down by the 50-week, right? But what I can say is once we lose this low, if we get accepted into this gap, guys, fast move down. Fast move up could lead to the fast move down. That's how we view the low volume gaps, right? And then once you come down to the shelf of volume, it's also confluent with your value area high, very common. Maybe you get the bounce, right? Again, I don't know what it's going to look like. Maybe you get the retracement, retest, come back into the range. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but just to hammer home why this level of support is so strong, right? Not so strong, so important, I should say. Lose this. Nothing underneath you. Literally nothing. You got nothing there. It's like jumping into a hole, right? And where are you going to land? Here's your hole. There's the floor, right? Bing bong, right? And then hopefully not a continuation down, but definitely in the cards. And I would say, honestly, probably a high probability of that with the way the high time frame money flow looks. So we're really praying that we can hold up here. Tomorrow, if we're getting a bounce, right, we're going to be like, whew, thank God, thank God. And we'll probably still be very cautious, but it would be very nice, to stay above this zone. Very important. And hopefully the low volume gap makes it very easy to look at. It's very easy on the eyes, right? It's like you can look at this anywhere. Any kind of range that you're looking at. Come on, volume. Come on, volume. Right? Price sticks here. High volume node. Right? Price moves very quickly through here. Low volume node or low volume gap. Right? I highly recommend you come into bar replay mode and look at this stuff. Right? Just to kind of understand how price works. Right? Or how price moves. There's your gap. Well, look at that. You break into it. You get a fast move up, right? So there's no reason to expect, or there's no reason not to expect, once you break back into this range, that you would get a fast move down. What happens? Bounce, 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 right? And I can't really move the chart. I know it's hard to see here, but if I move the chart, the volume will move. But there's that low volume gap. You guys can see. Bounce, bounce, bounce. You break in. Very fast move down. Where do you bounce off of? Inside all of this volume, right? So you look at this more relevantly. Look at that. I would expect the same thing, right? Fall through the gap. You got 76K here where we bounced last time. A little bit of a high volume node, but for the most part, pretty big gap here, right? Huge, huge level to remain above. We got to hold here. Yeah, shout out to Lucia said, hello, darkness, my old friend. Shout out to Lucia. My only bullish signal is the whole internet is calling for 75 to 55K. I agree. Charts don't look good, though. Yeah. Shout out to, two things can be true at the same time, right? So yeah, I would agree. Shout out to Tactical Hornet. I always say this, right? Like when the masses are all, honestly, like sometimes we'll be looking at something and then eventually we start getting close and everyone starts looking at it. Sometimes it makes me like, I don't know. Now everybody's looking at this. What are the chances of it playing out? Really, I'm always binarily going to look at the chart, right? If the masses are agreeing with what the chart says, I'm going to go with the chart. In that case, I'm agreeing with the masses. It's when when you see the divergence, right? When you see the masses calling for one thing and the charts are showing another thing, that's where I say, hey, the masses are, helping. It makes me feel a little better about the charts playing out. But even if the masses are agreeing with the charts, I'm still just going to go with the charts, right? I don't really take the masses into account. Yes, they're wrong more than they're right. I agree with that. But shout out to BTC Bill, bro. Shout out to BTC Bill. Absolutely smashing the support on the Mafia here with the dang memberships lately and the super chats. $100 super chat said, price action up, price action down, Mafia wins. Shout out to BTC Bill. Absolutely, bro. I always say, right, here in the CandleMafia, we show you how to make money trading Bitcoin, whether price goes up or down, which is beautiful, right? Doesn't matter bull market, bear market. You can make money if you're a trader, which is the beauty of being a trader. We actually had someone in the premium Discord talk about how they had a 12K week. Not that last week, but the week before. He's like, I had my first big week. I made 12K. Oh, my God. Please tell me how to not mess this all up now. And we gave him some advice. Of course, not financial advice, but shout out to BTC Bill. Absolutely, right? All we need is the volatility on the charts. Up, down, doesn't matter. Sideways, there's trades to be had. There's money to be made. Obviously, a little different for the spot bags. We need price to go up for the spot bags. But shout out to BTC Bill, bro. You are extremely generous, especially along with Mad Ads. Let's see. A lot of people calling for the cycle break and relief rally around here. Yeah, and then that's the thing, right? If you just you got people calling for this, you got people calling for that. That's why I don't pay attention, right? Like for the most part, I just mute everyone else's opinion, right? I just make my decision off the chart, and more often than not, the masses are disagreeing with the charts. That makes sense. But yeah, you got people calling for the cycle to extend. You have people calling for the cycle to repeat exactly. You got people saying this is the bottom. You got people saying this is the start of the bear market. I just stick to my own plan on my own TA. No need to muddy up your decisions off of other people, because one of the only things worse than being wrong and accepting that you were wrong and taking a controlled loss because of your mistakes or just the fact that, you were wrong, is you end up being right and you just changed your mind because you just let everyone else's opinion get into your head. That is the worst. It's like, for example, not that this is the case, right? But let's just say this looks really good. I'm going to gig along this up to new all-time highs, right? And then everyone just gets really scared down here. You change your mind, you close the long, and then, you're like, yeah, everyone's bearish. Like, oh man, like they must be right. Like maybe they're not, maybe, and then all of a sudden it plays out. You're out of your long, or you went entered a short, and like you just should have stuck to your plan anyway. I would much rather be wrong because of myself than just flip-flop on my position based off what other people say, right? I'd rather just blame myself to be wrong. That's a bad position to be in. It's like, I shouldn't have listened to you. That's what people say, right? But don't do that, right? You're responsible for your own trades. Shout out to James, said 12K is nothing for a $20 million account. I don't know if he has a $20 million account, but that would, from binary perspective, be correct. Should be like a little pop-up, close it for 12K. Shout out to Jack, said, but I don't know, it didn't finish that, I don't think. Maybe the market makers will push for max pain, but we still look very good in spite of the 50-week moving average. Maybe. I don't know. I look at the high time frames. Like, does this look bullish to me? What looks bullish about this? I think a lot of people would argue high or low, right? I see a lot of people saying this, like look guys, low, high or low. This is bullish. Wrong? No, right? Yes, this is a place where you would look for a high or low. It's the same thing back here. So why I try to show you guys in the past, right? They would say the same thing here. Just because you're coming into an area and getting a bounce for a high or low, right? Like just come into bar replay mode and look at this, right? You can imagine what people are saying here. Oh my God, high or low, 100K. Oh my God, Bitcoin's more bullish than ever. They're ignoring the high time frames, right? This, sure, an area for a high or low, valid, right? So 786 is literally where I look for higher lows. But not all higher lows or Fibonacci retracements for higher lows are created equal, right? This would be, yes, a technical place to put in a higher low, but what's the problem here? You're below the 50-week moving average. Historically, not good for price action, especially when you close multiple weekly candle closures below. On top of that, you have your money flow coming out. This indicates the long-term trend to the downside, right? So what would I expect here? What did we expect here at this time, live analyzing the price here on the channel, is very high probability of a lackluster bounce, lower highs and lower lows. So from a just simple standpoint on a chart, it's like, yes, this is, high, low, high, low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Valid thought, right? But why am I not taking that way? Well, it's because we're almost the same exact situation. You're losing the 50-week, totally different context. Weekly, 6-day weekly money flow coming out, totally different context. The probability of that being a massive high or low is lower probability. Impossible? No, nothing's impossible, right? We could wake up tomorrow, some bullish news event comes out, euphoria happens, and just massive move to the upside. Does that mean that's high probability? No. So based off the charts here, right, like I would be saying the same thing, right, as I was saying back here. It's like, yes, I know this looks like a higher low. It could be a higher low. I can't say it can't be a higher low, right? Anything can happen. But is it a high probability? No. Why? Money flow coming out. Let's come back to our current price action, right? Try to make it nice and simple. Why do people like the way this looks? Well, hey, low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher low, higher low, $1 million. Possible? Maybe. What do you not want to ignore? I am so happy we didn't ignore this last cycle. Now, could this be wrong this cycle? Maybe, right? And again, this isn't going to greatly affect me, right? Like we come back up, I'm still partially exposed to the market. I'll enjoy the move to the upside. We'll probably catch some longs as well. But doesn't mean the higher probability is to make a new all-time high, right? Not impossible, but again, you cannot ignore this stuff, right? People say higher low, right? Sure, maybe, but you can't ignore this, right? No one wants to talk about the conflicting signals, right? Now, if you're putting a higher low here and your money flow was in a big red wave, let's just say the money flow was in the red here and we were starting to cross into the green, that would look a lot better. That's what you want to see for massive moves up. You want to see money flow coming from the red into the green. We literally have the opposite there. This would indicate the higher probability is to be at least careful, right? I'll never come up here and say it's impossible, right? Because I just know it's not. I've been in this market long enough to know that unexpected things can happen. If you don't like that unexpected things can happen, I would recommend maybe getting out of crypto. But, of course, the higher probability is always going to be the chart, in my opinion, right? The chart is the truth. I say it all the time. You just can't ignore this, right? Could it fake out? Yes. Is it the highest probability? Probably not. So that's why, yes, I kind of see why people think this looks good, but I just see it differently, just like we saw it differently back here. People hated me back here, guys. Hated me. I was on the internet for like a month, and people were like, get this guy off the TV. Get out of here. But, of course, I'm happy that I stuck to my guns there. And, listen, I could have been wrong here, too. I say this every day. I could have been wrong here. And I accept that, right? I accepted it last time, too. It's like, hey, well, if we flip this, hey, that's different. Maybe we can go up. But until then, got to be very careful. And at the end of the day, you could have come up for a bigger lower high and then lost the 50-week again. I just don't know what's going to happen, right? Everyone just wants, like, tell me, are we going to go up from here forever? It's like, I don't know, man. Nobody knows. We're just making our best guess based off the charts. And more often than not, we are right about that. And it has to do with the fact that we pay attention to actual information. We don't just like cherry pick only the bullish stuff or only the bearish stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, let's see. Shout out to Mad Ad said, Bank of Japan is a non-event, ? Was the dump today in anticipation of that Wednesday and Thursday event? I don't know. I just don't really pay attention to that stuff, if I'm being honest. I've never regretted not that I don't pay attention to it, not that I don't take it into account, but it's like I really just want to see that stuff agree with the chart, right? And at the end of the day, like why did I expect this move down? I mean, on Friday, if you guys watched the show, I kind of didn't have a preference here, whether we came up or down first. The only reason I was saying that the move down was probably higher probability just had to do with the chart, right? It had to do with the volume profiles, right? Couldn't get out of the value area high. We know there's a high probability. It doesn't matter what the narrative is or anything. It's just simple. Can't get out of the value area high. You're looking to lose the POC and fill the range in full. That's why I expected the move down. Had nothing to do with the Bank of Japan. Had nothing to do with anything, right? Just only the chart. So I'm just like the wrong guy to ask about that, I guess, because I'm just always going to give a chart answer. And more often than not, whatever the narrative is, it usually lines up. So shout out to Mad Ats. I don't know. Is it a non-event? Probably the wrong guy to ask, if I'm being honest. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Posed. What would the market maker do? Do that. Not financial advice. And then again, like you think about like the market, like you start to think about like the narratives and stuff, or not narratives, but it's like Max Payne. What would Max Payne be, right? Like there's many ways to look at that. Well, Max Payne might just be to send it continuously down, right? But also Max Payne could also be looked at like this: send it up near the all-time highs and then dump it. That could be Max Payne, right? So like both things, it's like, again, the charts are binary. It's either the charts are looking like they're going down or they look like they're going up, or sometimes they look like they're chopping sideways. But like the high time frames, this does not look good. It just doesn't, right? So I'm just going to stick to that binary view. And of course, the beautiful thing is if that's wrong, it doesn't mean you're going to lose all your money. It doesn't mean you're going to get wrecked. It doesn't mean, or at least if you're positioned well, right? Now, I empathize with people who might have bought up here or people who might have bought up here, right? But that has a lot to do with your positioning, right? Like this is... I could see why someone would be freaking out there. They're like, oh my God, I bought up here. Now I'm massively down. Like, should I sell my bag here? I don't want to take this massive drawdown, but like, I also don't want to sell too early if we're going into new all-time. Like, that is a position problem. That is just where you got in, right? Like, I'm not personally in that position. We buy in down here, right? So I am still partially exposed to the market. If this is wrong, glory to the crypto gods, right? I'll enjoy that move to the upside, right? But, when the charts look like this, when we have these massive signals, like it made no sense to cover myself up here a bit when you have massive gains, right? Like I'm not going to sacrifice 500% gains for, maybe a new all-time high. I got to de-risk there, right? I got to take profits. If you don't take profit in the bull market, guys, if you don't pay yourself, and I'm sure a lot of people in here have round-trip 2021 cycle. Hopefully you didn't, but I know a lot of people did. You're going to be looking at, you look back in the past and you're like, well, dang, I didn't take profits here. I listened to the 100K calls here, and I just got cooked, right? So hopefully in this cycle, you actually took some profits on the way up, which we all had. We had targets here. We had targets up here. So, I don't know. I'm always praying for price to go up, but I just can't ignore this, right? I could hope price goes up. I could listen to the bullish narratives while still not ignoring this. It's a very difficult situation to be in, if I'm being totally honest. This cycle taught me narrative follows price. I'm glad I found this channel to prove again and again that that is the case. Yeah, shout out to Brill. It's like fighting an uphill battle, right? Because like everyone just, it makes sense logically in people's heads. ETFs, price go up. And today, breaking news, ETFs go live. Oh my God, buy, buy, buy. Now, was that a bad long-term decision? No, right? Obviously, long-term bullish for price action, but it doesn't translate one-to-one, right? There's the ETF approval. There's a 20% drop. Right? Again, not bad long term, right? It has to do with your kind of positioning and your stance, right? If you're looking to hold Bitcoin for 10 years or 5 years or, say 10 years, is it bad to maybe buy a little down here? I mean, depending on your situation, maybe not, right? But I would just definitely wouldn't be going all in with the charts looking like trash like this. But, if you're looking to hold Bitcoin for 10 years and you think Bitcoin's going to be at 500K in the next 10 years or whatever it is, right? Like, 80K is a lot less than 500K, right? So like nibble in here a little bit. Then if it continues down, you can nibble a little bit more. Continues down, you can nibble a little bit more. And then the next cycle comes, and eventually you'll have a nice little average entry price somewhere in here, right? And you can enjoy that ride up. It's exactly what we looked at on the channel in the last cycle. It's like, hey guys, wait for that weekly money flow crossover. Big capitulation, right? Now your money flows in the red. This is probably time to DCA in, DCA in, DCA in, drop again, DCA, DCA. You get that nice average entry price, and you're well positioned. Before Bitcoin's in the news, all-time high, all-time high. Don't be these people. Please, for the love of God. So yeah, and then it's time and time again. You get a news event, right? Like whatever it is, right? And then price just continues going down. And then people always ask, like, well, with all this stuff, why is price going down? And it's like, I don't know what the narrative and the news and all that means, or, I don't know about that, right? But what I do know is the chart's been calling for this. Again, I've never looked back and been like, man, I should have just traded the news. Never once in my life have I ever said that. I've always just been like, thank God I paid attention to the charts. Does it mean the charts are always right? No. So, management is the most important thing. Are all coins dead? Shout out to Yoda. Forever? Probably not. Are a lot of altcoins going to be dead forever? Probably, right? Like a lot of altcoins aren't going to make it into the next cycle. So, again, if Bitcoin gets the bigger retracement, Bitcoin dominance falls, we get a retracement, maybe we can see that, right? Like I said, if we get a Q4 Santa rally, maybe Bitcoin retraces, dominance comes down, that's your opportunity to see the altcoins pump, right? Does that mean you're going to get the God tier alt season? I think that's up in the air. I personally would not expect that. But that's your opportunity. You need the bounce. And again, the importance of the bounce happening here before the bigger breakdown would be important. Let's see. Do you think a short retracement to 91.5 makes sense, as there are loads of liquidations there? Let's take a look at the liquidation heat map here real quick, guys. Where we at? All right, so the way I look at liquidations are, well, let me let this load real quick. Let me take a sip of the Aztec and Cactus Moss water real quick. Yeah, shout out to Wick589 said, can't lie, I think the last bull market's all-time high was not an all-time high due to inflation. Yeah, of course, I know Wick knows this. I am more in the camp that this was the true all-time high. This was the massive euphoria. This was the true all-time high. This was essentially an inflated dead cat bounce. If it wasn't an inflated dead cat bounce, I think this would have much more likely just been a lower high, right? And maybe that's similar to what happened here, right? Where was all our euphoria? Even though it was much less than what we saw in the past, right? Well, any kind of view, like the at least when you just look at this price action, the only place where we had any kind of like bigger search term analytics, right? Or, Bitcoin had any kind of attention, right? Or euphoria. The only time I've ever gotten texted by my normie friends and family in this cycle was back here, right? That was where the altcoins pumped. Maybe it's something similar, right? It could literally be almost the exact same thing, right? Not saying it has to be, but, right? There is your true all-time high, search terms peak, right? You come up, you make a slightly new all-time high, and then you continue down. You lose the 50-week, you retest, you continue down. Definitely something that's possible. It's definitely similar to what happened in the past. I would 100% agree, Wick. 100% agree. Gotta go to work, homie. Shout out to Mikey. Have a good time. Tell your coworkers, Frankie Candle said, buy Bitcoin someday. Not financial advice. But anyway. Shout out to DK Insight says, without alt season, crypto is dead. And we got our alt season in 2024, November to... Shout out to you, bro. Literally what I just pointed out. Based on this premise, we are already, again, 1 year in a bear market. Definitely plausible, right? Definitely plausible. This is what it feels like to have the biggest bangs. Custodians and the money printer all on our side. Shout out to Regular Guys Trades. Let's see. All right, so let's talk about that short-term retrace real quick. Yeah, I mean, listen, we're at support. Like, back to the beginning of the stream here. Let me pull up the Bybit chart here. All right, we're hitting into support. Again, like not the place to look for shorts. Support, bullish divergences, only thing you can look for is a bounce. And I'll just mark off the exact zone we looked at last week, which was right here, between the golden pocket, the daily MPOCs, the daily MPOC down here, and the 786, right? Like this is the zone to bounce off of. I know it's kind of big, right? We can actually pull that down to here. I'll take this golden pocket off the chart because it was already tapped, right? This was the zone. 91.5. If we did get a retrace, right, ignoring the volume profile, right, where could we look for that retracement to happen? Now, you obviously have resistance before 91.5. You obviously have the value area low. You have these tapped MPOCs, right? Let's pull our fib from the high to the low. Golden pocket comes in at about 91K. 786 comes in about 91.4, right? So if you did get a full Fibonacci retracement, could push up here, right? Which is why, I know it's a lot of levels to look at, but that's why I pay attention to the volume profiles. It's much simpler, right? It's like, well, hey, if we get back in here, we could look to push up towards that POC. So is that impossible? It could be possible, but you gotta get above 87.3, right? That would open the door to push up towards the POC, and you don't want to forget 89,589 into the weekly MPOC at 90,329 are still levels, right? I can't promise that you're going to get the move into the POC golden pocket, right? You could put a lower high in here, you could put a lower high in here, or you could go up for the full POC, right? And maybe fill to the value area high, right? So could you see the retracement? Yes, it would have to flip 87.3 in order to see that happen, right? So yeah, is it possible? I would say so. Shout out to Dominic, said Frankie's screaming long, guys. Listen, he said it again. Shout out to Dominic. I will just clarify, I did not scream long. This is not financial advice. All I'm saying is you're at support, right? This is just not a place I would look for a fresh short position, right? You want to short as price comes up, and you want to long as price comes down. If you've been trading for any amount of time, even if you're in your second week of trading, you've fired off on some trades, you're probably thinking price goes down, let me short, and then you're getting cooked. Oh my God, price is going up, let me long, and then you get cooked, right? I know it sounds contrarian or kind of like an oxymoron. Like, why would you, price is going down, isn't that bearish? You would want to short. Yes, the idea of that is true, but that does not mean that's the best place to enter, right? So yeah, retracement into 91.5. I mean, hey, if you go up to that golden pocket, you're getting pretty dang close to the POC, 91.5, right? Get above 87.3, see if you can make it up to that POC. I would just be careful around these local levels here. But if you're just looking at it from a volume profile perspective, right? Well, flip 87.3. You have the bull divs below the low, right? The bull divs aren't below the low, though, right? Like you're in the range, then you get the lower low down here. I prefer to see these bull divs more local, something like that, where you have the bull div below the volume profile and then you reclaim. I prefer to see that. But at the end of the day, if this 1 hour bull div or 2 hour bull div prints and you get above this level, well, hey, that opens the door. This is your doorway to the POC. It's 87.3. So if that happens, sure, we can get the bigger push up. I don't have a problem with that. Let's see. Shout out to Div X-Ray. Yo, shout out to you, brother. He said, Frankie, I don't feel so bad now that I dumped everything. I'm not cooked like hodler. Shout out to Div X-Ray. That's the other thing too, right? Like, I have a percent, like I always have to explain this to people. I'm a trader, guys. That's my active income. Of course, I invest in crypto long-term. Of course, I believe in Bitcoin long-term. Of course, I hold long-term spot bags. As a matter of fact, guys, I have a percentage of Bitcoin of my bag that I will not sell, right? I'm just going to hold it. I have no anticipation of selling it. I'm going to hold it for 20 years and give it to my kid, right? If I give my kid a Bitcoin and it's worth $3, is what it is. I'll have other investments for him as well, right? But, in my thought, right, if I give my kid a Bitcoin, he's going to be able to pay for his college tuition, right, at least if he goes to college. I wouldn't be a super stickler about that. But, there is a portion of my Bitcoin I'll just never sell, right? So I am a long-term Bitcoin bull. But, with the trades, right, it doesn't matter, right? Just move up, move down, right? We're making money either way, right? I'm not looking to hold this. Like if I'm in a long here, right, I'm not just looking to hold this to $1 million, right? I'm just looking to make some money, lock in my profits, and leave. Sometimes I just take a trade, right? Let's just say I was looking for a trade from here to here, right? I'll just get into that trade. I'll make a bunch of money. I'll get out, and I don't care if it continues up or dumps, right? If it dumps, of course, it's a little happier because it's like, yes, I got in right at the top, or I got out right at the top, right? But if it continues on, I don't care, right? My opportunity I was looking at was from here to here. I made the money. I got in, I got out. I'll be able to repeat that over time. It's active income, right? So I have to work for that. I have to look at the charts. I have to find the setups. I have to take the trades. I have to manage them. It's my earned income, right? And then my long-term investments will grow my wealth over time. Let's see. Sailor needs veneers. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Frankie won't let his kid go to college. You heard it here first. Shout out to JR. Nah, if my kid wants to go to college, I'll let my kid do whatever he wants. But if he says, hey, Dad, I want to go start this business, I want to risk it, man, I'd be like, dude, you're 21. Do it now. Do it. Do it, bro. But yeah, I mean, I look back at my college experience and probably would have been successful way sooner if I didn't go to college. But it is what it is. Should I trade all year next year to invest back into the utility run of 2027? Crypto Owl. Definitely not a bad idea, right? Like I said, it's earned income, right? If you can make money trading in a bear market, I talk about this all here, right? 2021, shorted the heck out of this thing, right? Any of the profit you make here, right? Oh, we're shorting it. Okay, now we're, money flows in the red. We're hitting key support, whatever it is, right? I'm going to take some profit. Now I'm looking at DCA. You could take that profit in DCA, right? You don't have to take it all, right? You could spend some of it. I mean, obviously pay your taxes. But yeah, of course, right? You make a bunch of money on this move down. This is what people forget, right? Like, you don't want to leave the market if we do go into a massive bear market, right? Let's just say we do go into a massive bear market similar to here. You don't want to leave the market here. This is the time to pay attention. If you are here, let's say you got into crypto last week and you're like, wow, what if this thing does go down, right? Should I just come back when it starts going up again? No, that's the wrong thing. Pay double attention here, right? Because by the time you leave and you come back in, you're not going to come back in until Bitcoin's back in the news. And then at that point, you're not getting a great entry, right? This is the time to double down on your attention to crypto. This is your time to double down on your research. This is your time to learn how to trade, short the market, make money. That's if we go into a bear market, right? You can obviously long as well, right? So it's not like you can only short, right? You can catch longs here. If it doesn't want to go on all-time highs, great. You'll make more money. But this is the time to pay attention. This is where everybody leaves. This is where everybody makes the mistake. I'm out. I'm done. I'm not paying attention anymore. I'm sick of this thing going down. It's depressing. No, pay attention. Even if you round trip your bags, right? Pay attention, right? Because this is where the opportunity is. The opportunity is not up here. It's not up here. The opportunity is down here on the big move down. Just like when you don't want to look too short when price is dumping. You don't want to look too long when price is pumping. If you're longing while price is going up, you are late to the move. If you are shorting as price is coming down or after price comes down, you are late to the move. It doesn't mean you can't catch a retracement for a continuation, but again, you want to short on the push up, not on the push down. It's the same thing for long-term bags. You don't want to buy here as price is pushing up. Oh my God, everything's bullish. The news is bullish. All these narratives, I'm going to buy here and it's going up forever. No, price moves in ebbs and flows. You don't want to start selling your bag after a big dump to the downside, right? Not financial advice, right? But I would never sell after this. If I was round tripping my bags up here, I would not be looking to sell those bags down here, right? I'd be paying attention to try to get cheap prices for the next run. So hopefully that makes sense. I think most people get that, but I know it's probably a lot of new people. Let's see. Wrong answer. Shout out to Delia? Says, Frankie, please, any chance we get above the 20 level by Christmas? What do you mean exactly by the 20 level? If you let me know, I'll try to give you my anticipation. He said it again, guys. Long, damn it. Shout out to Dominic. That's not what I said. I swear. Shout out to Div X-Ray said, Frankie, can you tell YouTube to stop it with the dang ads? Shout out to Div X-Ray. I think one of the best investments I ever made was YouTube Premium. It's like you can't go back. Once you have no ads on your YouTube, you just can't go back. And my subscription expired, and I saw an ad, and I was like, what is going on? Oh, my God, this is brutal. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Shout out to Crypto Owl. But real quick, guys, again, we're holding the key support. Biggest key levels above. I would say 87 to 87.3. If we could flip that with low time frame money flow, specifically what I would look at here for the money flow, by the way, I don't know, 15-minute money flow, right? If we can get above here, 87.3, 15-minute money flow comes up. If we can get that 4-hour green dot to print, we could look for that bigger continuation. Of course, I already showed the local levels, but, with an eventual target of maybe the POC, right? I'm just looking at that as a volume profile, just like up here. Deviate above, get back in, can't break out, lose the POC, go to the low. Get back in, opens up the door to the POC. If we can flip the POC, get above the 786, go to the value area high. But I would just be careful on that because we do have a lot of local resistance here that we covered in the beginning of the stream. So hopefully we can hold this. Right now it's looking okay. You got some bull divs. But let's just go. I want to take a quick look at Ethereum with you guys. Here we are, right? So on Ethereum, right, we looked at this on FOMC day. We were looking to come into our major target here, which was our Fibonacci retracement as per usual. There's your golden pocket. There's your 786 right on the POC of your range. There's that major target. We pushed in here on FOMC, and we got those what? Beautiful bearish divergences. Higher highs into your key level, lower highs on your momentum waves, giving you the bearish divergence. At that point, you would at least look for a pullback of some sort back below the POC, and we've made it all the way back down to this value area low. We literally were looking at those bear divs into the key level of resistance. Money flow comes out, send it back down. Currently, the biggest key level of support here, right, was the value area low. We are tapping that right now. As long as we can stay inside this range, maybe the doorway to the POC is still open. Maybe we create another little local range here. But at the end of the day, if we end up losing this value area low and we cannot reclaim it, huge level of support here sitting between 29.18 and 28.26. If we lose this, I would pull up I'll just pull up this volume profile right here. Right, just marking off those areas of balance. We've already held this value area high as support. If we cannot hold inside this value area, currently we're still in the range, right? Like this is what you're hoping. You're hoping to hold in here to keep the doorway to the POC open. But look at your money flow here on the 5-hour. What is this telling us? Money flow is crossed into the red. You have to be careful for the continuation of this downtrend. Lose the value area low 786. Well, guess what? We're looking down to this macro value area high, 26.78. Get accepted in here. I will be looking at that as its own separate range. There's your value area high. There's your POC sitting at about 25.32, and there's your value area low sitting at 24.61. Hopefully that holds the support. But at the end of the day, guys, if we get accepted back in here, going to be looking for that full fill of the range. So big key levels down below. And of course, we have our golden pocket 786 here. Golden pocket's already been tapped, so I don't really look for those to hold up a second time. And actually, I would have to move this, right? Yeah, it's really got to hold this value area low. You're at critical support. You got to hold this level. You lose this, not looking good, right? Probably looking down here. So come on Ethereum. We don't have any 5-hour bull divs, no 4-hour bull divs. Technically, I don't like the look of it. Technically, you can say this is a lower low, this is a higher low. Technically, I have a bull div confirmed. I don't really love it. It's very exaggerated. It's very sharp angle. But this is your key level. Look at the tap on that value area low right there, 28.92, almost to the tick. Got to stay above here. Lose it. Yikes, right? And again, the money flow is coming out. 4-hour money flow, trying to come back up. Maybe that fakes out, but your 5-hour just crossed into the red. 6 hours in the red. Your Your 8-hour just crossed into the red. Is this what you look for massive moves up? Not really, right? This is more indicative of lower highs, lower lows. So, big key level, 28.94. Got to hold that. Shout out to Ian. What is going on, bro? Thank you for the super chat. Said Frankie Candles. Would you be a good, or what would be a good time frame to backtest BTC specifically? Could you do a demo on how you would do it? Thanks, man. Shout out to Ian. It depends, right? Like if you wanted to practice, depends on what time frame you want to look at, right? If you wanted to practice, I mean, you would probably get this done pretty quickly. But if you wanted to come up to like a weekly time frame to practice, like, you know, if you wanted to backtest on the weekly, could you? Yes. But it would really only be good to kind of look at where you should be, you know, buying for long-term spot bags. Mrs. Candles in the chat. Come on in here, Mrs. Candles. Okay. Oh, Mrs. Candles feisty. She said no. I like how your hair flew in front of your face when you said that. What's going on? Oh, okay. Why? It's so warm in here, right? You know why, right? Don't roll your eyes at me. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. She said, I came in here because I just figured it would be warm. You know what could be getting steamy in here during the live streams? Come here. Let me see that Mrs. Candles hand real quick. We need it, Mrs. Candles. Please, for the love of God. Come on. Do it for the Mafia. She's checking her nails. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh, that one made me dizzy. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. Mrs. Candles' hands in the chat. Let's go, baby. Hope. Okay. She just ate potato chips. Your hands don't smell like potato chips. Okay. See you later. All right. Anyway. What? They were good? Okay, good. I'm glad. What kind of chips were they? Oh, all right. Who eats regular potato chips? Yeah, I just got a bag of salted Lay's. Anyway, let's continue on here. Yeah, so obviously not on the weekly. I mean, you could do this, but no, I would say, like, you know, it doesn't matter, right? Because price action's fractal, right? Like the same things you'd be looking for on a 4-hour are contextually going to be very similar to what you would look at on the 15-minute. So, like, for example, right, you might look at this as a volume profile, right? And in bar replay mode, I don't know how it's going to work for you guys. TradingView's been really glitchy. It used to print the volume profiles very cleanly when I backtested. It doesn't do that anymore. They don't print for me anymore. I don't know why. But you just want to treat it as live price action, right? So what I would say is the best thing to do, in my opinion, is they didn't have this when I was backtesting a lot, but they now have this, right? You could click random bar. It will bring you to a random place on the chart. I would recommend doing this on a lower time frame so you can't easily identify like where you are. And maybe take the time and date off, like this little time and date thing. I can't point at it, right? It's like right down here. Take that off as well so you're not like, oh, this is the bear market of 2022, right? You want to try to make it as unpredictable as possible. So like just go down to the 1 hour. It doesn't really matter, right? Like you just want to understand what I would do is I would go here. I would click random bar. It'll bring you to a random place on the chart. I would also try to maybe stick away from like the inception of Bitcoin because it was obviously very different time. But then you just want to look at it like this, right? And it's going to be hard not to go to the higher time. So I would treat it as a live chart. Pretend this is the real 1 hour time frame. Go to the daily. Mark off your key levels. All right, what do I have here? Let me mark off my key daily horizontals, right? Well, I have a daily right here. I have a daily right here, right? Mark off your MPOCs. Mark off your volume profiles, right? I'm not going to do the whole thing here. It'll take me forever, right? Pull your Fibonacci retracements. And then have your find your confluent levels. Find the areas where you would hope for a reaction on price, aka areas where you have multiple confluent levels of key support or resistance. And then go down to the 1 hour time frame. And then at that point, right, you might have, oh, I have an area of confluence up here, right? I know I have 3 major levels up here. I know I have key support down here, right? I'm obviously all random, right? And then just say to yourself, if I come down here, right, maybe I am deviating below a value area low, right? Which actually would be the case. I didn't do that on purpose, but hey, it works out, right? Maybe if I come down here, I'm going to look for a potential trade, right? And then you back test like that. Maybe I'll make a tutorial on this. Hey, if I lose this POC, maybe I come down to the value area low. Money flow is coming back up, but maybe it comes back, you know, maybe this will continue the trend to the downside, and you just play it through, right? I'm not going to try to be super, oh, there you go. That's how you would do it, right? It's like, lose the POC, money flow coming out. There you go, right? I didn't know that was going to happen, but Very high probability, right? That's exactly what I would say if this was a live chart. I'd say, hey guys, we're losing the POC. Money flow's coming out. Indicates the trend is probably going to continue down. Are we going to get to fulfill the volume profile, right? If I get a deviation below the low or bullish confirmations at the low, maybe I can start to look for a long position, right? And maybe you're not, right? I'm not saying you always have to look for the long position, but you just try to figure it out. Oh, look at that. No way. Okay, I was going to say, that'd be hilarious, right? Just like, right back up to the value area high. Not looking at the higher time frame or anything. But there you go, right? Like, that would have been a pretty good example, right? Are you interested in a long position here? No. Are you interested in a short position here? Probably not, right? You're just waiting to come down to that next key level and looking for your confirmations. What happens? You deviate below the low, you get the bullish divergences. Maybe you test that as a position. Can I make it back up to the value area high? Maybe you almost did, but didn't really. But again, this is just a random example. This is how you would do it. Right? You're just looking at it as live price action. Find your key levels. Even though these were imaginary key levels, they just randomly happen to work out. But that's how you would do it, right? You're just treating it as live price action. Fine. And then am I looking for a short? Well, if I'm only looking for a short up here, if this is my confluent area of resistance, I'm not looking for a short until I get up there, right? And of course, you don't, again, like just random lines on the chart. But, probably would be somewhere closer down here. And they just, or you could just pull your volume profile and see like what do I think is going to happen here? Let me take a look at the daily time frame. My money flow, kind of wonky. Let's check the 2-day. 2-day money flow, super wonky. 3-day, come on, trading view. Come on, you could do it. There we go. Right, all right, money flow's in the red. So maybe you have a bearish bias here. I don't know. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, right? It's going to take forever. But you just want to see like, all right, let me see how this plays out, right? Maybe you get a rotation back up to the value area high. All right, no, look at that. We continued down, but maybe that's because of the high time frame bias, right? Maybe I'll make a video kind of like simply explaining that. I'm kind of rushing this because we're live, but that's how you would do it, right? Just treat it as live price action. Maybe you were looking at this volume profile, right? So hopefully that helps you, IN. You just literally treat it as your regular price action. If you watch through my tutorials on how I mark up my chart daily, I would literally click random price, try to get somewhere that's not like, like you don't want to be trading this, obviously. This isn't 2012, right? So, all right, okay, cool. Awesome. This looks a little bit cleaner, right? All right, well, what am I looking for now, right? Well, you mark off your key levels. Well, hey, maybe I have this little volume profile. Again, sometimes the volume profiles work in bar replay mode. Sometimes they don't. But you would just mark off all the key levels. Come out to the daily. Mark off your weeklies. Mark off your monthlies. Pull your big Fibonacci retracements. Pull your big volume profiles. Look at your money flow. Are you looking for money flow to continue up? Are you looking for higher lows and higher highs? And then, even if you just want to test individual tools, right? You could just say, let me pull a volume profile here. Right? Go down to a lower time frame and say, let me see how this volume profile is treated, right? Let's see if it's respected. And they just watch it play through. You don't even have to put positions, right? Just say, all right, well, that wasn't respected. Now we're back into value. It's not letting me pull this. Let me just extend this to current price. Right? Okay, now I'm hitting the value area. Just watch it play out, right? See how your volume profile behaves, all right? Back to the high. And we broke out, right? You just watch it play through, right? And I'm obviously just picking random places on the chart. But yeah, hopefully, I'm sure that was not a great explanation, but maybe I'll make a tutorial video. Maybe we'll release it during Christmas week just to kind of help you guys how to backtest. So anyway, let's see. Shout out to Blah. Shout out to you, brother. Said, Frankie, your Lux Algo indicator is amazing, but can you add the option to add alerts on the 30-minute and the 1-hour time frames when the sauce jars are formed? You might already be able to do that. Let's see here. And all this is, for anybody new, is just pulls a volume profile and lets you know like when you're getting bullish confirmations at the place where you'd be looking for a trade, right? Like there's your bullish divergences below the value area low, indicates a move to the POC, potentially up to the high. There's your bear div above the high. You don't go all the way back to the POC, but you do get a drop down, another bear div at the high, back in, get accepted, POC, value area low, right? Anyway, you might be able to. Let me see here. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm going to look into that. You might be able to set alerts on this for sauce cans printing. I'll try to look into that. But yeah, if we could change it, I'll try. That would be an awesome video. Shout out to Mountain Magnets. Okay. Yeah, we could do that. That'd be a pretty simple video to film. Shout out to WV something. Shout out to 777. Your view on the Bank of Japan increasing rates. Show me the charts. Not that it doesn't matter. Not that it's not important to pay attention to, but I'm just always, my bias is always going to be off the charts. Are we going to the moon? Shout out to Samu. Hopefully. Cardano. We could take a quick look at Cardano. Oh, beautiful, guys. We're bouncing off the value area low. We're getting above the POC. We're going up to 54 cents. Just kidding. We're in bar replay mode. So, yeah. So, last time we looked at Cardano, are we out of bar replay mode? Yes. So, of course, right, like longer-term viewpoint stays the same, right? I think a lot of people want to see altcoins. They want me to say there's some secret signal that's calling for all-time highs, massive alt season incoming. I just don't see it here, right? We had the 4-hour bull divs into our key level. Whoops. Got a nice move, right? That was the last time we pushed into support with confirmation. We got to move up to that anchored VWAP. We put in a higher high, and then we lost the anchored VWAP again, and we're back down. Is this surprising? Absolutely not. Why? We're just inside our larger range, right? I'm not going to cover the hyper-local timeframes on Cardano. But overall, right, this is your major key level of support. All in all, your 5-day money flow is in the red. Your 6-day money flow is in the red. Your weekly money flow has crossed over into the red. Altcoins, the money flow bing bongs very quickly, right? So, I can't say that this can't fake out into the green. But overall, right, what has happened here? We had balance. We lost that balance. What happens when price action leaves balance? It is seeking out the next fair value. Balance is just fair value. Between the low and the high is the expected fair value. Once you lose this, price seeks out the next area of fair value. Where is the fairest value within a profile? It's the POC of the range. So what happens when you impulse out of this volume profile? You get back accepted into your closest area of value, and you gravitate towards the POC. We've had local volatility here, but at the end of the day, if you cannot break back out of this value area high at 54 cents, the higher probability is to eventually fill this range in full. I don't want that to happen. But with money flow coming out on the higher time frames, there is an invalidation, right? Like the invalidation is, number one, get out of the value area high. Number two, get accepted into your upper value. Then you could look to trade in this value, right? Price ranges 80% of the time, right? Price is more often than not ranging, impulse, right? And when you're impulsing, price does two things. Does one of three things. It either seeks out fair value, or two things: seeks out fair value or creates new value, right? And when you have a volume profile like this, we knew, right? Once we lose this level, probably going to the POC. It's just very high probability. You have to be very patient, right? But until we break out of this value area high at 54 cents, I have to say there is a higher probability of eventually losing this POC and coming down to the low, filling the wick in full with your money flow coming out. Until this money flow scams back into the green in an aggressive manner, and more importantly, until we get above the value area high and this value area low, then we're accepted back into the upper value. Until that happens, right, you're inside this range. You're looking to trade that as a volume profile from the value area high. Next place for price the next high probability area for price to go is the POC. Lose the POC, you're expecting the value area low. The only way to invalidate that idea is to get the heck out of this volume profile. Until then, this is your range. That's your expected value. I would expect to hang out here, right? So you need to get out. Money flow would indicate ebbs and flows eventually. Like you lose that 786, I'm expecting that value area low. It's the last level. So there you go. Taking a look at some of the lower time frames. Daily. Money flow attempting to come up here, right? Is it possible to put a bottom in on the POC? Yes. But again, like the thing that kind of throws the wrench in there is the fresh high time frame money flow crossovers. Yeah, like nothing here on the 1 hour, right? 8 hour money flow back in the red. So, I would just be patient here, just chopping around that POC. But if we lose this 786 POC zone, high probability of a move down to the value area low, or at least to start a move down towards the value area low. Doesn't have to be instant, right? You can kind of bing bong around. So, there you go. Take me back to 3-cent Cardano. Those were the days. Shout out to Cryptic Crabman. Oh man, people would be freaking out about that. Shout out to Crypto Paisa. Welcome in, brother. Welcome in. Shout out to DK Insight said, oh, what a joke. Dips are gifts. We had this for a billion years at this point. Where is the alt season? Where are the 300 to 400% green candles? Come on, brother. Shout out to DK Insight. Hopefully they're coming soon. Doge, yeah, we could take a look at Doge. No problemo. Let's see here. Bada boom. All right. All right, Dogecoin back down to the tapped weekly MPOC, right? I mean, this is just the next key level that we've been waiting for. We're here. Tapped weekly, this is a tapped level. I don't really put a lot of weight on those. The only reason I kept this on the chart was because this was taken out by this massive liquidation wick. Still represents price action, but I just left it here because, you know, it's kind of got scammed out of that level, right? And you have the 786 down here as well, right? This is still the only level I can really look at on Dogecoin. This is pulled from the low to the recent high, or I don't know if I'd say recent high, but from the swing low to the technical lower high. 786 retracement. This is really where you're hoping for the bounce, right? Maybe it's a retracement for lower prices to come. High time frames would indicate that, unfortunately, right? This indicate money flow coming out on the weekly. Green dot prints, awesome. If it happens at support, maybe you can get a big push up. But this money flow would indicate higher probability of lows, lower highs, and lower lows. Your next key level, if you lose that 786, whether it happens now or you get the retracement first, and we'll talk about a potential retracement coming in here, but if you lose that 786, next big level to look at is the value area high at 9 cents, 9.5 cents almost, right? And again, it just comes to balance. Here's your volume profile. Once you lose this balance, it doesn't have to be in a straight line. Eventually, unless you get accepted back into this range, the upper balance, right? Price is seeking out fair value all of the time. So at the end of the day, right, if we can't get accepted into this balance, right, you could just be working your way down here to your next area of fair value. And the 786 is kind of your last defense level to bounce off of. You lose that 786, I will be anticipating the value area high. Key level of support, yes. Could you get the bounce? Sure. If you get accepted in, well, I'd be looking for the full fill of the range, the bear market range, down to 6 cents. So it's an if this, then that. If we hold here, you can get the retracement. Biggest level to get above is very clearly going to be 16.5 cents, 16 to 17 cents at the value area low. Doorway to higher prices, right? We already have the red box there, or the purple box. Could try to see here if we have any, like, right, no bull divs, right? So no real reason for me to look for a bounce right now. Not saying it can't happen, but not something I would be interested in. Let's take a look at the daily. You know, maybe got a little bit of a daily bull div down there, right? So, you know, I would just say, even if you do continue down, like you're hoping that the bull div can print holding that 786, right? And then maybe you get a retracement. Again, I would be very careful at value area low because if that weekly money flow is indicating lower highs and lower lows, this could be an area for it to come in. And again, lose the 786 looking down here. Simply put. So you're approaching support. Am I looking to short Dogecoin at the bottom of this red candle? Never. So let's see. Already tapped the weekly MPOC. See if you get hit into that 786. You don't have to, right? But you know, that's kind of the last place to look for that daily bull div to print. So we'll see if we get that green dot. If we do, if we come up here tomorrow and we have that daily green dot printing, hey, probably getting a little bit of a bounce. That's a big level to look at. This could be a lower high before the lower low. If we can flip it, that could change things, right? But I don't know what money flow is going to look like up here. So we'll have to take it day by day. But this zone does sit between 12.126 and 0.120. 12.5 to 12 cents. Got to hold this, right? I can't really, there's just no other levels down here. So there you go. That's what we're looking at on Dogecoin. Let's see. Shout out to John Smith. John Smith Doe. I was going to say John Doe. It says Bitcoin bear flag below key support will trigger a deep correction targeting around $67,000. Very interesting that you're targeting $67,000. It's almost. It's almost where's the range? It's almost like that's the POC of your lower range. So I would say that's a valid measurement. Because if we lose these lows, could be the fast drop down that we talked about. And where is the bottom of this zone? About 67K. So I would have to agree with that, right? Interesting. Not saying it to come down directly right this second, but eventually that would be, again, this is still my higher time frame macro targets if and when we continue down. Yeah, shout out to Indy Martini. He said, at this point, I just want to dump down to 75K. Yeah, I want to get out of this mess. I want to get out of this chop fest. Pump Jasmine. Shout out to Mega. Shout out to Captain Kirk in the chat. Welcome in. CandleMafia Mama. Welcome in. Welcome in. Good to see you, Cap. Hope you're doing well. Div X-Ray said, man, everyone cooked. Let's face it. You all went into altcoins and got wrecked. Admit it. Shout out to Div X-Ray. I bought into my altcoins much lower. I am cooked on some of them. But most of my alts, my big bags, I was in from much lower. Let's see. Shout out to Ray. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Can you look at XRP and should I be worried? What should I keep an eye out for? Its all-time high is all-time highs going to be 2026, or is it over for 4 more years? I would not expect it to be over for 4 more years. That would be that is not what I would be looking at. We can take a look at XRP real quick. So still just hanging around here, just hanging around. You're losing your range. You're losing your range. Let's see. 4-day money flow continuing out. 5-day money flow continuing out with VWAPs coming down, looking to print fresh red dots, or is printing a fresh red dot on the 5-day. So you just got to be careful of that. These can unprint. They're not confirmed just yet. 6-day red dot is printing. Weekly money flow still trending out, right? Very clearly trending to the downside. So, maybe you get a little retracement, but again, at the end of the day, right, like it's really not until we get above like 280. It's not until we get out of this range that I would be looking for higher prices on XRP. And we'll see. If you get the Q4 rally, altcoin, Bitcoin dominance comes down and you get some kind of an alt season, maybe you can get the breakout, but like this is not what I'm anticipating right now. We have a long way to call for that. If you lose this 786, looking to come down to these lows that we looked at on Friday at about $1.54. Really don't want to lose this, right? If you lose this, yikes. But luckily, right, we have held this up before, right? So I'd say about $1.52 is a big level to hold, right? You got these structural highs back here from 2021, and it's kind of been the range lows. So if we do get below this 786, right, low to high, we've already filled this in full again, right? I said this on Friday. I don't anticipate the 786 to hold up twice, usually. Right? It's not possible, but, typically when you're looking for a low, a high, and you're trying to look for a higher low and a higher high, you want it to hold up on the first attempt, right? Which has never been the goal here, or the anticipation, right? Why? Because all your money flow is coming out, like ever since back here, right? Like the warning signs here have been on the chart forever, right? But what will people say? ETFs, this news narrative, $10,000, flip the switch. I don't care. I just don't, right? Because the chart is the truth almost every time. This right up here, you would be looking for lower highs and lower lows. The indication was there all the way back here. So, I wouldn't expect 4 years of downside personally, but I would expect losing this 786 to be not a good sign, right? Like you're really hoping to hold up in this zone, get back into your range, and push back up through this profile. But once you lose the 786, currently sitting at about $1.81, probably going to be the bigger drop to the downside, in my opinion. And then, $1.50, these lows, right? $1.50, $1.60 to $1.50, right? Like big range to hold. Lose this. I mean, let's pull that 2021 volume profile. Whoops. And then look at that, right? It's also your macro value area high. This is a key level, super big key level. Why? Well, could be support, right? You would hope it's support to get back into your upper range. But if you break in here, guess what? Where's the next highest probability place for price to go? POC of the range, sitting at 83 cents. Lose the POC, looking down towards the value area low at 69 cents, right? I'm not saying you have to go down here. I'm just saying if you don't want to go down there, you got to hold this level. And if you do lose this, the rotation through this profile becomes very high probability, right? Fast move up, fast move down. Make sense? So this is your big level. You got to hold this. You lose this, I don't know, right? Again. PLC, value area low. So that's the biggest level of support in my opinion. Got to hold this. It's kind of like the $70,000 to $67,000 zone on Bitcoin, right? You can hold the top as support, right? But once you break into it, right, you're looking for the fulfill of that profile. You know, I'll say this till I'm blue in the face, right? Like every time we look at volume profiles, same reason why we looked for the break of 70 cents to give us a fast move up to $1.50, right? It's, well, hey, get back above the low, rotation to the high is very high probability, right? It's the same thing on the way down. So you really, number one, you got to hold $1.82. Once you lose that, playing around with supercritical support. My overall anticipation is, you know, at least the continuation down here at some point, even with the bigger retracement that comes in. Probably higher probability of lower highs and lower lows. We'll see if we get some kind of retracement or Santa rally with dominance coming down, alts rip. If that doesn't happen, right, like overall, I'd probably be expecting to come down here, personally. Not financial advice, but shout out to you, brother. Hopefully that helps you out. Shout out to Matt did. God did. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you for the super chat. Said, hey, Frankie, when Warbucks video, keep it up, bro. I am trying to work on the Warbucks video, guys. You know, I should drop bloopers of me filming videos, guys. I had a long day. That time I got off the stream to film that video, guys, I tried to film that video, and I couldn't talk. And the bloopers are hilarious. Probably not family-friendly. Just like, what is channel going on, guys? Welcome. And then I yell because I can't get my words straight. But we are going to be dropping it very soon. Shout out to Matt Did. If you guys are interested in funded accounts, you guys can check out Warbucks BTC. Link in the description down below, I believe. Let's see. I think the party will start when bears will think BTC is over. Yeah, I think it'll just play out like the other cycles, to be honest. Whether it's a 70% drawdown or not, I just think like, you know, people are in disbelief. People will be in disbelief, right? And they're just thinking like look at back here. Oh my God, no way! Like it's not over. 100K incoming. All the influencers said 100K. Well, like there's no way we can finish the bull run without 100K, right? Well, no one cares, or the market doesn't care what influencers think, right? What does it care about? It cares about the chart. It cares about liquidity, key levels, right? Buying, selling. So, you know, what was happening here, everybody was saying 30K is the bottom. Look at that, higher low on the 786. Oh my God, higher high. But like I explained earlier with the money flow coming out, low probability of a higher low and a higher high. Sure, support for a bounce, but lower highs and lower lows were higher probability, right? And then what happens, right? They're thinking, you know, here we're thinking like, I don't know, guys, right? Even when you get that weekly money flow or even 6-day money flow crossover into the red, even the 4-day money flow crossover into the red, which happened all the way back here with massive weekly bearish divergences, it's like, I don't know, guys, a little bit suspicious, right? And then, oh my God, this is the bottom. This is the bottom. You know, everyone's so bearish, they're going to be wrong, right? Maybe they would have been wrong, but charts were saying down, price goes down, right? And then what happens here? They're like, all right, finally, now we're going into a bear market. What are we? Now we're going down to 8K, right? Like, well, they're too late, right? They were late to the party on understanding they were in a bearish environment, and they wind up accepting it after they eventually find a bottom, right? And they're just thinking like, oh, like the pain is so bad. They're just thinking it's always going to go down, and then what happens? They miss the bottom. So, yeah, I would say I think it'll play out very similarly, right? I think a lot of people don't believe, right? And even if we go into the big retrace, right, they're just like, it's even more fuel for people to be like, see, bulls, bulls, bulls. And then sure enough, they get the bigger drop down, and then they're like, all right, fine. Now we're in a bear market. Send it down to 10K, right? And then we form a bottom, and they're late again, right? I think it's going to be very similar. Whether we go down 70%, 50%, whatever it ends up being, right? We'll keep you guys updated here with the TA and the levels and what I think, but you know, I don't know where the bottom's going to come in, right? Maybe it's coming in now. Who knows? I wouldn't say long term, but hopefully. All right, so there we go. Did I miss Sol TA? I don't believe you missed Sol TA. I don't think we looked at Sol. Let's take a quick look at Sol. Yeah, it's just nothing. I got nothing for you guys. Probably going to take him the past 2 weeks off, if I'm being honest. Clinging onto the value area low here, guys. He'll lose the value area low. Next level I can see underneath us is probably going to be this daily at 112.74, right? Like the goal here is stay inside the range. Doorway to the POC remains open. Flip the POC / anchored VWAP, push it up to the high. Lose the value area low. Next key level I'd be looking at is the daily starting at about 112.74. And then, I mean, I guess you could look at the weekly and the daily together here, right? You get a little bit of confluence there. Maybe get some high time frame bull divs below the value area. Of course, right? Very similar to what you had here. Lower lows, higher lows, bullish divergences below the profile, back into the range, back to the POC, stay inside the range. Eventually, you get the value area high. So over time, right, maybe we hold support here, get another push up. But if we lose this level at 124.37, I will be anticipating this zone right here. If we can get some high time frame bull divs in there, hey, maybe we're going to get some high time frame bull divs here. Look at this 2-day, right? I don't know if that bull div is going to form early like that, right? Or if it's going to push us into the support. I would prefer the support to get a hit. But that's kind of what I would be looking for, right? High time frame bullish confirmations. But again, like overall, look at this money flow, generally trending to the downside. We talk about this all the time. These little ebbs or flows up, little fake out into the green. This does not negate the fact that you are probably continuing a bigger wave down, which would indicate if we do bounce here, potential lower highs and lower lows. I'm not going to talk about like the dark depth targets. Luckily, my average entry price into Solana here is about $30, or it's either 20 or 30. I think it's $30. So pretty safe there. But the something like that is what I would look for. You get a deviation below the low, almost the same exact thing that happened here, right? So hopefully get the bounce early. But again, if you lose that level, I'm looking down here, 112 to 105.32. All right, let me come back in the chat here real quick. Sad I missed Soul Short here. I was actually positioned well for it, too. Shout out to Brillo. It's all right at like $200, which would have been right into the retest of the value area high. Same thing here, right? Like come down a time frame, come down to the daily, right? What do you have here? And just to show you guys how you could see this stuff before it happens. It's all about trend. What's going on here? You got your daily money flow starting to trend out. Let's go down to the 12-hour. 12-hour money flow trending out over time. What does this indicate to you? This indicates the trend, the long-term trend, is probably going to continue down with highs, lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. And you could also say, if the money flow is agreeing with us, crossing into the red here, what would you expect? Acceptance into the range, can't get out, high probability move to the POC, high probability move to the value area low. You don't have to have the crossover yet. You're just looking at the trending nature of it. And of course, you have the big liquidation wick, which drops you directly into that POC very fast. But again, still stands true. There's your high, there's your low, there's your lower high, there's your acceptance into the range, there's the POC, right? And then at this point, right, you're looking at this. Oh my God, it's pumping, bullish, right? No, not all pumps are treated equal, right? What is your money flow doing? It's in the red. Look at it, clear as day. Money flow in the red. This is your major level of resistance, right? And if you pull your fib, well, I'll just pull it here. There's your golden pocket. I don't even think you made it up here. You probably made it up to the local fib, pulled from the lower high, which was right in confluence with the value area high, making this a very key level of resistance. You're looking for, what am I looking for here? Green dot printing. I'm looking for bounces off that green dot, right? But I'm expecting overall lower highs and lower lows to continue the trend to the downside. Money flow indicates this, not this or this or this or this or this or this or this, right? It indicates the trend. So that's why I think a lot of people get confused. If money flow is coming out, why are we pumping, right? Well, it's all part of the plan, right? You can pump, right? And this was a pretty massive pump from the wick low to the high. That's a 43% pump. I don't know exactly how high we came, right? But a 43% pump. That's a 43% pump alone is not necessarily bullish, right? Context is king. What is your context here? The money flow acts as a filter, letting you know whether you should be fading the highs for the continuation of the trend or if you should be longing the lows for massive moves up. This would indicate you're looking to fade lower highs to ride the trend. You want to be on the right side of the long-term trend. This is your key resistance. You know if you can't break out of the value area high, the high probability is to continue to the POC and then down to the value area low. Green dot gives you the pump. Beautiful. Money flow is still coming out. Overall anticipation is lower high. And lower low, right? And you can see everyone, oh my God, but we're pumping. Oh my God, but we're pumping. We're pumping, but 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 we're pumping, right? Long-term trend. Zoom out. Get off the 1 minute. Get off the 1 minute time frame. there you go, right? And obviously, you got the full fill of the range to the value area low. But we're pumping back down to the low, right? So now we have our money flow attempting. Well, let's wait, right? Money flow attempting. It's kind of sideways here. I don't know if I would say this is coming up. Generally, though, the trend is coming up here, right? So you're at support. Money flow's trying, it's kind of coming out aggressively there, but it's attempting to come back up. But again, long term, right? Let's look at the weekly. What is this money flow doing? It is coming out very clearly, trending to the downside. This is bearish money flow, whether it's crossing into the red or not. So when this green dot prints and we get some kind of a retracement up, or we come down here, we get a retracement up, oh my God, we're pumping. Just like we looked at here. Pay attention to the long-term trend. You're going to be better off fading the highs, looking for the bigger drop down. That could get invalidated, right? But we have to see a reason for it to invalidate. If it pops up, I'll be the first person to let you know. But again, like I just very explicitly shout from the treetops. Trending out. Green dots tell me pumps are lackluster for lower highs and lower lows. We can identify where those lower highs are likely to come in at as we push up. But that would be the overall anticipation, whether it's pump up here, right? Whatever it is, right? Maybe it's just a rejection at the value area low. The overall anticipation of the trend is down. Maybe the Santarelli just steps on that, right? But that's not what the charts are pointing to. It's the only thing I can say. All right, let's see here. Shout out to Ray. Ray says, if only I pulled out at 260. Shout out to Ray. I don't know. I'm probably not. You're probably not talking about Solana, if I had to guess. My name, Jeff. Shout out to Skizzle. Welcome in, brother. Welcome in. But guys, we're already long here. Hour and 55 minutes. One day we'll get the 1 hour streams in here. But guys, we'll do one last check in on Bitcoin here. Let's come back over to the actual Bitcoin chart. That's XRP. Let's see. Yeah, just still wiggling around down here. So we'll see. Biggest key level to get above, 87.3. We could flip that. If we could flip that with our 15-minute money flow coming into the green with our 4-hour green dot, maybe we can get a little bit of a retracement. But again, I would be very, very careful around these Fibonacci retracements. Because again, we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to overcomplicate this. I'll save all the actual technical levels for the scalps and stuff for the premium Discord. I don't want to overcomplicate things. All you're doing is deviating below your range. If we lose this level, $85,714, not good, right? We just don't have a lot of support. It could be the bigger drop down towards 78,550. Only other opportunity is going to be sitting down here for a potential SFP, right? It doesn't even have to be an SFP, right? But like maybe we sweep the lows and get another bounce. But even that, I would be very cautious of lackluster retracements, lower highs and lower lows. Got to be careful of that. So that's what I'm looking at on Bitcoin, guys. We'll see. Pray for that 4-hour green dot. Pray for that 15-minute money flow to cross over into the green. But again, I'm not personally holding a long position right now. Maybe that changes if I find a reason to enter later tonight. But right now, I'm sitting on my hands and just waiting for the bigger key levels. I don't like the confirmations down here. Maybe I'll be entertaining an idea of flipping here, but just kind of sitting on my hands here. All right, let's see. All you need is Fartcoin Max Long. Shout out to Skizzle. If you can catch the long from on Fartcoin, if you can catch the bottom, that would probably pay out big time if we get the pump. All right. Well, with all that being said, guys, we already read that. Long and strong, 85.5 stop loss at break even, just in case they send it back up. I think, Dominic, you meant back down. Stop loss at break even on a long. In case they send it back down, you'll get stopped out at break even. I think that's what you meant. But shout out to Dominic. Stop loss at break even. I absolutely love it. But guys, with all that being said, that's all the time we got for today's live stream. Hopefully we can, just get out of here and start talking about some new price action. Hopefully the charts can turn around. But I'll keep you guys updated here with the live streams and the market updates. Thank you all for tuning in. Smash that like button on your way out if you want Bitcoin to pump. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
What's next for me, Joe? I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, though they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threat. stress. Don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in mine, yeah.
It's okay, Phoebe. Come here. Come here. I know. It'll go back up someday. I promise. It's not going to be forever. You just got to, I know. You used to get a toy every day and it's once a week now. I know. It's okay. It's all right. It'll go back up. I promise. Come here. It's okay. It's okay. Good girl. Good girl. Guys, Phoebe's even upset right now. Phoebe's even upset, guys. Pump it for Phoebe. Hashtag pump it for Phoebe. We're starting a movement, guys. Pump it for Frankie's pet goat, Phoebe. That's all I got. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go. At the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out.